Good morning and Happy New Year, and welcome to our first launch of I Am the Word by Paul Selig and the Guides. Yeah, I'm Mary Roseman, joined by Marcella Nitschke and Heather Wells. And yeah, we are incredibly excited to be here to be part of your spiritual journey. And this is a very sacred and divine appointment for us as well.
So we're just going to begin on page 29. And believe it or not, we've tried this format several times and we've come to this agreement where we won't be reading too much. We're going to be chatting and sharing different things with you. And I think it's really necessary to say that as I explain this, as we explain it, we're going to try and come with examples, but always know this is our experience, you know? So just discern away, receive, um, and know that you're going to have your own story as all of this unfolds. And so we're going to start today, or the guards kind of start today by telling you that there's a way in which we operate in the universe, in this world right now, and it's limited in a way because it creates problems in the way that we create, right? And what they really want you to know or really understand is that everything that you experience or anything you experience, you choose, right? That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes because if you look or contemplate on some of your experiences, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I did not ask for this. I did not choose this. Well, I'm here to say, and the guides are inviting you to marinate in this, this possibility. Because as we talked about in the introduction in the prologue, um, it, that everything is energy. And we're talking about raising frequencies and vibrations here. And so if this is going to happen, we have to own where we're at right now. And see if I am experiencing anything that I do not like and I don't know how to stop it or to do a redo, that's what they're trying to teach us to do is how to change and elevate our frequencies so that we're not necessarily attracting these experiences that we don't want. Okay. So as we go on with this, they're trying to tell us that
you choose it in two different ways. You choose it on a level of consciousness, which means you intend to get something, or you choose it through your unconscious behavior and belief systems, which means it always happens to me and I don't know why. Okay.
And so we're going to talk about these two levels of unconscious behavior. And the first one is your programming, right? And these are just your unconscious patternings. Um, and the two things that you fight all the time are like some of the examples that they gave us is I want a lover. Why don't I have a lover? I want more money. I can't seem to keep more money. So I was trying to think of a personal example. And y'all, one time, I don't think I've shared this story yet because my beloveds here, they are helping me right now because I sometimes create or I come from lack. And y'all, one day I was a teenager and I went out to lunch with my girlfriends and we all ordered a salad. And I'm looking at the menu, and as the waitress walks away, I go, would you just look at this, y'all? These salads. We could buy two heads of lettuce for the cost of these salads. And these girls did not know what to think of me. But that's where my consciousness was, right? I was raised with that kind of mentality, right? But what I didn't realize is I was creating more of that, right? Instead of saying, yes, thank you, more, please, right? So be thinking about how you were programmed, different things. What are you bringing to the table in your consciousness that you're creating this level of frequency here. Um, So that's just one example of the unconscious patterning that needs to be cleared. Kind of ponder, what is it that I do? Um, so the second one is different, and it has more to do with the consciousness on a larger level or on a global level, on the level of the matrix. And this is something that you're in agreement to, right? Um, and they give the example of we're all in agreement that pigs can't fly, and that's appropriate. Pigs can't fly. However, you're also in agreement about things that don't withstand the laws of gravity. And the one thing that they bring up with is I am allowed to know myself as a divine being. When I say they, I mean the guides. They gave us this example. Now, come on. Once upon a time, someone told me I'm allowed to know myself as a divine being. Y'all, when we were younger, I don't know, Heather, maybe you would have thought so. But in our programming, within Catholicism, I was always taught that God was outside of myself. He was a creator, right? I never identified myself with as being a divine being, right?
Right.
So, only the
And then,
priest can give
oh,
me the release of my sins. Only the Father can solve this problem. Yeah. What were you going to say, Heather?
oh, I was going to use the example of like having to go through a priest to get
Yeah.
forgiveness or so. Yeah,
Right.
I was not
Right.
programmed in that way. You're correct.
I'll give you an example. My mom, she, and I think I shared with y'all, she got off birth control and she had already had 5 children. One she lost one baby. My father was an alcoholic and she had to go off the birth control for some reason. And so she was seeking permission. And I don't know, one day I asked her something because she was so thin or something. And she gave me this answer. And I was in middle school at the time. And I said, "You're what? You're waiting to find a priest who will give you permission to get on birth control? You're waiting for a celibate man to tell you that you." It didn't make sense, right? But I mean, and she was very defensive, and I was being incredibly disrespectful as far as she was concerned. So just ponder, what are these things that you believe in a collective level that kind of makes them so? And there's just, I mean, the examples are endless. Um, because of the evidence that we found to this day that supports it. But now we've got all sorts of other evidence coming up that what we've believed in the past, it's just not so. And so the book is just kind of, or the guides are trying to, what they're trying to show is, so what you believe becomes your experience, right? Now just soak in that and think about some of the stuff that you believe in, right? And they go on to talk about the ceiling. And so if your ceiling is very, very low, then you essentially boxed yourself in. But if you can raise the ceiling, then you've raised your vibration, you've raised the possibilities, right? So another example that the guides give us is when you physically grow, your body's growing. You go and you buy new clothes, right? To accommodate the growth of your body. That's the same with the ceiling. Accommodate your ceiling with the growth of your spirituality, with your purview, right? And so they call this ascension. When you ascend in frequency, your vibration lifts. As your vibration lifts, the requirements of your growth transforms themselves. And then you're presented with new opportunities to align to the next level of consciousness. And so as we're closing, the guides are just giving us a heads up that this is a process, right? Um, we're not going to grow from our infancy or our current human reality to our Christed self overnight. It's going to be a process. So, Heather and Marcella, what do you think?
Well, I think this chapter 1, just to start explaining the different levels of your subconscious beliefs and how relevant it is, like they said, on a collective consciousness level and an individual level.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone, all of our listeners and ourselves, to just reflect for a moment to see what your beliefs are and to question where those beliefs came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing, Marcella, we've talked about before is like aging, like the collective consciousness
Mm-hmm.
has a belief system on aging and at what level, um, whether it's health issues or the aging process, but that's a collective belief. That's just another example.
Right, like you hear like people talking, oh, my niece, and they're already, oh, it runs in my
Mm-hmm.
family. And that's a big one, I think. Like, oh, all my family has had this arthritis or these whatever, right? And some sort of issue. And they just think that because their family, their ancestors had it, they are supposed to have it, when it could very well be that they just passed on the mentality or the beliefs that bring about those physical symptoms instead of being genetically, passed on. So I think that would be an example of how the collective, certain beliefs are just accepted without question.
That's really good. Another one is, oh, my parents had this illness and this illness and this illness, therefore I'm already showing signs of this, right? Because we believe we have to inherit that. Yeah, that's a belief system nobody needs. So the guys are trying to present to us how simple this is, but it is a complex process depending. No, okay, cancel. I can already hear them, right?
It's easy.
Yes, but the ease and grace is totally up to you, right? Totally up to you. Um, I don't want to, I'm here to be supportive and compassionate to anything that you're going through. But I will not, this is what was the beauty of being with Heather and Marcella. And y'all, I've read the book how many times and I've facilitated how many groups, right? But my process, has just my experience has been more intense because of my firm attachments to my beliefs or perhaps to my programming. No need to judge it. It is what it is. Everybody's going to show up uniquely different, right? Um, yeah, but so, I just, as we close now, do y'all feel cozy? Or is there anything else you want to say anymore about it? Just contemplate.
Well, I was going to say at some point in this one of these pages, it says that once we raise our ceiling, we have our intention to raise our ceiling, that the universe will present the opportunities to do so. And I must say, this last couple of weeks, like since I started, thinking about it and kind of setting out my intention for that, things have happened, that things that I had no idea that I needed to look at have popped up big time. But it has not been hard. It's been like it was on my face and then you kind of push it away, and then it was on my face again, push it away until like, oh, okay, I need to look at this. But I strongly believe that it has to do with that intention that, I said, when I said I want to raise my ceiling, I want to expand,
Mm-hmm.
my beliefs and open up to the possibilities. And I know that it talks about the tethers or the things that need to go, that no longer serve you. And it has already started, and I'm super excited about it. And it hasn't been difficult. It has not been pleasant at the beginning to look at things that I didn't realize I had, my personality, things like that. But it's awesome because it really, right? You feel like, okay, this is meant to happen, to be revealed. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, she says it so delightfully. And so, my personality was a little more, um, what do I want to say? Resistance. That's the word I was looking for, y'all. I'm so busy resisting, right? Anyway, I don't know. I will tell you that if you just let go and know, okay, that this, the possibilities are endless, the flow starts happening, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to close now, contemplate all that we've read, and we'll meet you very shortly on the second part of the chapter, The Word. Thank you for joining us.